Hey guys, and welcome to this special edition of the American Contractor Show. I'm your host, John Dye, and today we are at the Atlas Roofing headquarters here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're about to go in there and have a conversation with our good friend, Mr. Stan Bastek, and I'm really excited to get to sit down and talk to him about what the future of Atlas looks like for you contractors that use their product. And maybe you don't use their product, but it'd be good to hear what they actually can offer that can help your business grow in 2021. So let's get started. Stan Bastek?
What's happening?
Dude, this is so cool. Thank you so much for letting us come hang out with you today.
You bet, man. Glad to see you guys are out and about, still getting out there, getting the message out. American Contractor Show on the road.
Well, that's no thanks to Atlas. You guys have been amazing. You guys have been great supporters of the show, and we truly appreciate that. And you guys hopping on this, but more importantly, today I wanted to talk to you because, man, you're the man over here. VP of Sales and Marketing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Obviously, coming from another marketing guy, now I have dreams and aspirations. Just
there you
like
go.
Look at this. Like this is my goal someday here to sit in the seat of Stan Bastek's maybe.
Yeah.
So, but dude, like let's talk a little bit. I mean, this has been a crazy year for you.
It has been a wild year for a lot of folks, myself, included. 2020 is like it's just like a mirage. It's like, what is really going on? And certainly in construction, I think, we talk a lot about sometimes we feel like we're living in a parallel universe. I think it was incredible how this industry across the supply chain all the way down, really starting with the contractors really fighting for their right to maintain their livelihood, fought to become an essential business. And I don't think there was anything, there wasn't any magic dust on that. It was real. I mean, if you've got a roofing need, if you've got an issue with your home and all of these people are forced to be at home, right? There's so much more focus on the home, then construction was, absolutely, it was paramount for this to be an essential industry. I think the domino, what I think it opens a lot of people's eyes up to, I hope, is there's an incredibly complex supply chain behind everything that we do. We see that at times, but if you start with a homeowner needing to get a roof replaced because they've got a leak or they had a storm come true and they're trying to prevent, worse damage from happening, whether it's paid for by the insurance or not, I think it is one of the most important things to get addressed quickly. And then the impact on so many lives and industries. We've been very fortunate as an industry to be able to be essential and stay going through this. But from there to the distribution network to the drivers and the staff working at distribution, people actually shipping material, the truck drivers, the freight carriers, manufacturing, and then all of the manufacturing that feeds building an asphalt shingle or building insulation or building membranes. There's a lot of industries affected by our ability to continue to stay essential. So it's been a wild year. We've learned a lot about ourselves through this, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you guys have such a unique perspective on the industry as a whole, coming from this point of view where, contractors, sometimes we just think about, well, we gotta make sure we can go to the store and pick up our material.
Right.
Getting it there is not something that we necessarily think too much about, but it's been probably a logistical nightmare for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's been a logistical challenge and opportunity, I would say. At times it's felt a little nightmarish, but I think we, when you have really good partners and good supply partners, that's important to everybody. I mean, we are the customer to 3M, who manufactures granules in the same way that our customer, the supplier, the wholesale distributor, relies on us to be able to be transparent and honest about what we can and can't do during times like this, and then same thing goes for the contractor. You rely on the people you buy material from. You rely on your marketing vendors for honesty and integrity on what you're doing. We can't always get you everything you want right when you need it. That's just the nature of doing business of any type. But I think that honesty and integrity and transparency, I think, is the most important part. So. Well,
and those are things that I think you embody very well. You've been in this industry for a long time. A lot of people speak so highly of you, Stan, and your background and where you come from, and that's why you are now the VP of Sales and Marketing here. What's that journey look like for you though? Like, how does that feel like? I mean,
it feels like I'm not finished yet, not even close. Honestly, that's the way it feels. I mean, I love the company I work for. I love the people I work with.
It's a great company.
Yeah, I feel that way.
I love hanging out here with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have stayed with this company for almost 15 years if I didn't feel like it was a company that valued their employees as much as it valued anything else. But I think that you have to set goals. You have to have aspirational goals. I look at some of the entrepreneurs in our industry, contractors building their businesses, and some of the amazing stories about the growth of distribution. You look at where a lot of these companies started and what they've turned into today. It's incredible. So I think no matter what you're doing, myself included, you have to set really big, lofty goals and then go for them. But then it also goes back to you have to be just as focused on other people's success for you to be successful, right? So I'm proud, honored, and humbled to be in the position I'm in today at Atlas, but I also think it's, I'm not satisfied at all. I'm still really hungry, and we try to instill a little bit of a chip on everybody's shoulder in the company to go out and, stay hungry, stay aggressive. There's our marketing director, we were having a marketing planning meeting a couple months ago, put up a slide that was that musical Hamilton, and one of the taglines in there is like, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I think it's a good embodiment of the way to be in business, and the way that we try to be at Atlas is, we're not trying to be any of our competitors. We're trying to be our own unique brand of what we are, which is a manufacturer of building materials. It's not rocket science what we're doing, but there's a way to do anything really, really well, and there's a way to just phone it in and commoditize yourself as well. So we try to keep that in our people's minds to stay young, scrappy, and hungry.
Well, you guys do. You guys are really unique in the way that you guys operate as a business, anyways. I've been around a lot of manufacturers. Now that I've gotten more into the vendor space, it's interesting how these companies all operate, but you guys are probably one of the most down-to-earth, connected with the contractor manufacturers that there are in the industry.
We try, and if that's the feedback you're getting, then we're meeting our goal, which is to be accessible. I think at the end of the day, I mean, we're doing something imperfect. We're making a building material that goes on a roof and never gets a break from the weather, but it's everything else that goes into that I think really drives that culture, that persona of the company you're dealing with. Are you easy to get a hold of? Do your reps care? Are they responsive? Do you provide training? Do you provide support? Do you have loyalty programs? Do you have things that keep me in the focal point, right? Customers need to be the reason that we exist, right? That's something we talk a lot about is we don't get to do any of what we do if it's not for a customer, right? Saying, I want to put this shingle on. I'm going to specify this shingle. So for us, we try to keep that really center to our approach to customers, and then the culture really that is a part of that asphalt life community that we built. Live, Roof, Play, I think is part of how we felt about ourselves for our at least ever since I've been here. I know it's really something where we said, hey, let's try to wrap this in a community brand that other people probably can relate to as well. So we're not trying to be the biggest, baddest guy on the block. We're trying to be unique and to bring value. And, we understand that a lot of contractors have to have multi-brand strategies. From our perspective, that's a really good thing. You need to do what's best for your business. Don't build your business on another company, right? Build your business with your own goals and your own vision in mind. Our job in earning a customer's business is to go show them how we can help them on their journey, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that equates to higher success for everybody.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like the way that you guys have done stuff with your portals, your conferences, the tools that you give contractors. I recently ran into one of your reps in Arkansas. Randomly, he saw my truck. I was having bagels for breakfast one morning, and he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I saw you were in downtown where we were staying." He's like, "Saw the truck, so let's hang out." And I was like, "Okay." So we went and had lunch, and he started telling me all the stuff that they're doing to help those those contractors out in that area. And it's like the stuff that you guys are doing, I think, is so centered on those contractors that they feel that they've partnered with the manufacturer. Yeah. And that's the key. I think it's the partnership that you guys provide to those contractors.
Yeah. I mean, our success is totally hinged on their success. So I think you got to think about that with what we do. And I get reminded a lot by, some in our space, some in our universe that, we're just a manufacturer, right? We're, but again, I think if, the easy reply to that is, okay, well, are you just a contractor? Are you just a distributor? Are you just a supplier? Whatever that is. And no, nobody wants to be labeled as that. So I think that, but you have to be realistic about it. That's the way part of the industry sort of views, someone coming in and talking to you about why Atlas, right? It's not just why Atlas, it's just another weathered wood shingle. But I think it's any decision that you make about where you spend your money, who you spend your time with, where you invest your time, and how you build your business needs to be based on trust and differentiation.
Well, these are human decisions,
right?
I mean, they're business, and everyone wants to separate the business from the personal, but let's get real. Business is personal,
totally,
and it's humans, interacting in a way that they're able to work together for common goals. And I think that sometimes, as manufacturers grow, and as any company grows, whether it be a construction company, any business out there, you tend to lose some of that humanity aspect of it, and it gets lost in the business side of it, where it becomes so transactional that it's not balanced. Right. And there has to be, I think, a level of that, and I think that's one of the things that Balance has done it well too, but Atlas has done so well is to balance that interaction between the business and the human to create this partnership that really is it works for all the parties involved.
Yeah. Well, and then we have to be keenly aware of what is driving that, right? If relationships, follow up, interaction matters more than a lot of the other things, then we have to be really careful about who we hire, right, at Atlas, and how we train those people and the expectations we put on those people that work for us. Our success is 95, if not higher, percent in any given market, the people in that market. It's the local sales rep, it's the sales manager, it's the support staff, it's the marketing people that are interacting day to day and trying to, follow up on the promise of a brochure, right? We can sit here all day and say, oh yeah, well, Atlas protects you, right? We have programs that care about you, all this stuff, and we have warranty programs that provide peace of mind and curb appeal and all that. The promise is with the human follow-up to those things. Like taglines are just, they feel good. Like I'm affected by marketing.
Yeah,
like anybody.
Everyone is. Yeah.
But, what happens behind that promise is really the meat. And for us, it is our people. And we've had so much success in having really good longevity with a lot of our people. Our best markets are where we have the longest relationships, or people who come in and buy into being a part of something bigger, right? There's a lot of talk about, how to, make more money or improve your career or whatever. It's to jump around and to take risk and all that. I would say at Atlas, a lot of our success is people that have bought into the process and want to be a part of this and stay, right? So, we talk, and it's not always a fit for everybody, but I think when you look at our sales team, we have a very diverse, broad group of people from age and race and gender. That's evolving as well. But I think it's also people that just have a mindset to be hungry and trust the process, right? And then we, as an organization, also have to follow up on that promise of trust the process, and then they actually see that that's working for them and their families, and they grow. If we build a culture at Atlas where our salespeople and our marketing people are really happy to come to work every day because their company cares about you, how are they going to treat the customers? Right. If we have an office environment that's great to come to every day, people are going to like what they do and put in better work. I think that's important too for business owners to think about. What type of environment are you creating where people will want to come work and be a part of what you're doing? I think these are really important lessons we've learned from watching, people doing really, really the right things.
And that's paramount, I believe, to the success that you guys are experiencing. Yeah. And I tell contractors all the time, like, when you're choosing your manufacturer partner, there's a lot of different options out there. And apples to apples, everything kind of looks somewhat the same. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, though, I think what truly makes Atlas so special is what you were just saying, like the fact that you guys care so much about the little details, and not just the details, but being holding yourself accountable and letting your contractors and your business partners hold you accountable to doing the right thing each and every time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a work in progress. We're certainly not satisfied with where we're at all, and I don't think anybody should be. But I think it's also one of those things where you got to stop and recognize the things we're doing right and try to do more of that.
I agree.
And it's interesting. I think when things are going really well, I think it's human nature to also sort of look for the problems too. I was talking to our vice president of operations earlier today, actually, and we were griping about a couple things, and we're having a good year. Like we're stressed because we're managing through a lot of challenges, but we're having a pretty good year. And but one of the things that tends to happen sometimes, because human nature is to fixate on the negative, focus on the negative, and there's a healthy balance there, right? Like if you get too comfortable, with where you're at, it goes back to when we were, scavengers and hunters and nomads, that could be your end, right? If you got too comfortable sitting there because of your last kill. So I think that's something too that you got to keep in mind as a business owner. Like, this is a great year, right? Hey, it's been busy. We've been able to manage through where a lot of others haven't. Keep that in mind. I mean, how unbelievably, fortunate we have to remind ourselves to feel at times that, we weren't in a business like, the hotel or service industry business, or some of these restaurants that are just struggling, and people who, there's a lot of people on unemployment right now, struggling to find a job. I know several people who don't have a job right now and really do want to work, because it's challenging. So I keep telling them, get into construction, and there's fear about changing industries. But I think, staying hungry, I think, is super, super important, because it's easy to sort of reflect and sit back and be really happy. And you got to do that to keep people happy and keep morale up and recognize achievement. But you got to have one foot squarely pointed in that direction of the future, right? Yeah. Where are we heading? Where are we going? What are those challenges and risks that are around the corner that we're not that our competitors may not be thinking about? And that's where I think the entrepreneurial spirit of the American contractor is really impressive and powerful. I think this year we have seen so much in terms of innovation amongst the contractors and building material suppliers, just really pivoting and embracing this change. So,
well, what can we expect to see from Atlas in the next year or so?
Well, I think what you can expect is to see is a company that is poised for continuous growth. We are squarely focused on how we continue to grow in markets we have not been in. So we're focused on how to expand that reach, which also means looking at our capacity and our ability to service business beyond our current strongholds. We're also we're right now very deep into some R&D projects on some new product development that we think will be really positive for the industry in terms of differentiated offerings. We don't like to come out with things that are overly me too. Sometimes we do. Sometimes that's part of the deal. But we're looking at some new shingle innovations and some new designer options and some new features that we think are going to be important to both homeowners and to contractors. So can't spill too many beans, but you'll see some new products from Atlas over the next 12 months.
Well, I'm excited to be back and look at the Core 4 stuff and spend some time with some of your new products, because there are some really exciting things that you guys are doing, and we'll save that information for later. But at the end of the day, it's good to hear though that beyond allocation and all the different logistical things that are going on, that you guys are still focused on growing and changing them and becoming better and constantly evolving. And I think that's a lot of strength for you guys.
Yeah, I think you have to be looking at what's next. I mean, you've seen a lot of pare down of lines. You've seen certain products not being offered at all right now from a lot of industry manufacturers. You've seen color reductions. I think these are all normal things to service primary demand in a supply shortage, but you also need to be focused on, okay, what does this look like when things finally do normalize, and how do we go back out and providing ways for contractors to differentiate and meet homeowners' needs and demands. It's going to be a little bit before some of this industry supply issue sort of rights itself. I think I don't have a crystal ball. I can only sort of speak for Atlas, but I think when we look at the way this year progressed from March to May, even into June, there was so much uncertainty, and there was a lot of different decisions made by a lot of folks across the industry, and it just put us into a big hole. And then when the year was a lot better than I think anybody anticipated, and then you started seeing these little Skittles in the Gulf lined up, and it was an incredible sort of aha moment that we're not going to be able to get caught up as an industry for a while. So I think it's a challenge for contractors who had really strong supply partnerships. If you're in an area and your primary manufacturer of choice is just not available for whatever reason, that's a very difficult thing for both parties to sort of come to terms with. And then a lot of contractors just take the approach that I can't stop my business, I've got to go get whatever I can get. And I think that's happening for sure right now. But it's good and bad for the industry. It helps put the focus back on high level of customer service and honesty and transparency like we talked about earlier, but it rocks a lot of people, especially if your business was very reliant on doing one specific thing. So but we haven't seen this kind of a hurricane season in a very long time. We've seen some severe ones, but like this many compounding in really high dense areas, it's been a tough year.
In a tough market for you guys. I mean, that's one of your big markets that you guys are involved in.
Yeah, you really want to be able to meet all of your customers' needs in a hurricane situation, because there's a lot of desperation in a state like Louisiana where they have two hurricanes that basically scraped over the same general area but did incredible damage. And then the storm in the Panhandle too was no joke. I mean, there's a lot of damage there, but we wish we had unlimited supply, but everybody's shipping as much as they can in a situation where they're just we kind of started out in the hole with COVID. But I think we're managing through it, and again trying to prioritize as best we can. But it's going to be a little while before we get out of it. So, yeah. Well,
man, I really I think this is some great wisdom here. This is years of experience that's speaking right now, and sharing that information with contractors. This is. I mean, bro, you've been in this for a while now, and this is great information that we need to hear. Yeah. So I really appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely, glad to do it. And if I could tell anybody anything right now, I think it's just try to find some positivity and forward thinking, and there's a lot of stuff to deal with in the now. It's but really be thinking about what that turn looks like. What a return to normal looks like. And I'll also sort of leave you guys with this too on something I think everybody should go read. It was impactful for me, but Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Yeah, love Mike Rowe.
He's I think he's a good balanced view for this time right now. He put a blog post out earlier this week that I thought was really powerful in response to somebody that so he responds to like somebody's inquiry every week in his blog, and it essentially was talking about safety third, right? I think there's a lot of extremes out there right now. There's people that don't want to believe anything and just want to sort of spit in the face of mask mandates and shutdowns and affecting my business and my life and my ability to go do things. And then there's people who are, locking themselves in their house and, don't want to see anybody do anything. And, I think that, I generally think just like our country, most people are sort of moderate in nature and want to, find the most practical way to, approach things. And I think it was talking about just some of the loss right now, like the loss of the ability to connect and see people, and there's like a physical barrier between us, with these masks and these plastic barriers that are important for safety, but it's also, we're losing a little something. So, just don't forget to, reach out to people, especially over the holidays coming up with Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a lot of people lonely. There's a lot of people desperate. There's a lot of people out of work still. So, figure out ways how you can give back and reach out to your loved ones, reach out to your family, even if you can't get together. So just something I've been thinking about. We've got to be able to address that hole that I think is in a lot of our lives right now that feels very desperate right now, and find some positivity, because it's coming. There will be a turn. So,
man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing this with our industry and
Absolutely.
the people involved. And thank you so much for everything that you do. And congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you.
Well deserved. And I really appreciate you letting us come and hang out for a little bit here in Atlanta. Your boardroom. So
love what you guys are doing. So
Thank you,
we'll
man.
be watching the American Contractor show.
Absolutely, man. And when the storm comes along, please, when you're coaching, be fair, but keep in mind that Troy's over there doing his best this year. So.
I got fired from one job, and apparently they said, well, we feel bad, so we'll hire him for an assistant coach.
That's right, you're assistant coach this year. You're not ref. That's right.
Yeah,
well,
they fired me and Derek.
You're on the other team, though, so.
Oh, man.
Derek.
You got to have some
Derek.
fun. So.
Yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much,
You
dude.
bet.
I appreciate it.
Rock and roll.
Awesome. Are you doing something unique, innovative, or just plain cool with your contracting business and want to show off a little bit? We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at showcase@americancontractorshow.com and let us know what you're up to. We'd love to hear from you, and maybe we'll feature you on a future episode.